Let's talk about your dad.
My dad, well, he was a sharp man. He loved the woods. He loved to hunt and fish. And he was a quiet man. He didn't do a lot of talking unless you got him mad. He was a good dad. He loved children. Uh, he loved children. My mother and dad split up, and my dad married a lady with 5 kids, and they had 5 kids. And he loved every one of them. His adopted kids and just uh, their own kids. He just loved children.
So, who were his parents?
Uh, my grandmother's name, I have to think on that. It's so long since we always called her Mammy. Uh, she was a Cayce.
Oh, okay. All right. Edgar from,
Yeah,
that's the relationship to Edgar Cayce.
yeah.
Okay.
Her brother's name was Thomas Cayce. He was a millionaire. He owned a, he's in real estate. He bought quite a few of those big mansions in Nashville. And he owned about half of Nortonville, about half of DePoy over near Greenville. His old house is still sitting over there in Greenville and not Greenville, but uh,
Hopkinsville, right? Okay.
well, he owned property in Hopkinsville. That's where he's buried in the military graveyard. Uh,
No,
this is my grandmother's brother I'm talking about.
so that was Edgar Cayce.
No, his name was Thomas Cayce. Edgar Cayce, as far as my knowledge goes, doing some research on him, Edgar was his brother. Prophet Edgar Cayce.
Okay, so there were three of them then, right? Or was there?
No, there was more than that. Uh, there was there was some more females involved. We always just called her Mammy. When I was born, she was way up in her years, and she smoked a pipe and talked to herself. That's all I can remember about her. She just if she would talk to you, she talked to herself. And she smoked a pipe. She wandered off from home. It got up in the woods, and they were several hours before they found her. And it started raining, and she was laying on her back in the rain. And but anyway, some men from the neighborhood came and they found her and carried her back to the house and changed her clothes and got her warmed up. And she lived to be my uncle Tom. He lived 98 years old. Edgar died at 45 years old, I think. I have forgotten what he died from, but I think it was maybe a heart attack. And uh, my aunt, I can't remember uh, her name, Mary Eller. Mary Eller, that was her name. That was my dad's sister. And he had a brother, Freeland. Uh, I never met him. He lived in Paducah all of his life, and I never did get to meet him. I did see a picture of him, and he was a nice looking man. And Daddy worked for the tipple in the coal mining industry. It was his job to load and unload cars, those big coal hauling cars. Uh, One thing of interest that one day the tipple caught on fire, and that coal dust ignited like a gas can. And Daddy jumped from the second floor of the tipple and landed in a 6x6 wet moat. In other words, he landed in water and he got a big burn place on his side. And it saved his life. He jumped. It was probably from here to the street.
Oh, wow.
Close to 50 feet. He landed in that, and that put the fire out. The clothes was on fire. And the tipple didn't burn up, it just did a little damage. He taught me how to swim, and he would swim across the lake with me on his back. And he would teach me how to pedal, dog pedal, and we would swim across, and then we'd swim back across, and he would let me get on his back. And he was a good swimmer, a good hunter, and he was not a violent man. He was a patient man. There's men in town didn't like him, and it didn't bother him.
So what about his father?
His father's name was Date.
Date Vincent.
Date Vincent. He's buried out west of Graham. There's 2 or 3 graveyards out there, and I can never remember which one he's buried in. And they buried Meemaw right, or Manny right beside him. I don't know if it was Quality Chapel or I can't remember the name of them. But that's where he's buried. He died young. I don't know what's wrong, but he died young. And
so did you meet him, or he was?
No, he was dead, I guess, when I was born.
Oh, okay, all right.
He was just a good man. He loved kids. He loved me. If I fell out running and fell and hit the ground, if he was close enough, he'd really run to me and pick me up, like I had killed myself. But he was just that way. He'd grab a kid that had fallen and pick him up and just love him back to smiles.